Hey guys, we're doing a voiceover for this session of Dark Souls 2. There was a bit of echo, the dogs were barking, dogs were scratching the door, so we're just going to do a voiceover. The next episode, Baby Souls, is going to be the original audio, however there is a bit of an echo for that one. So as I'm explaining right now, the plan is we're back in Lost Bastille, and we came here from the bird from Forest of the Fallen Giants. We're going to be going up the Lost Bastille from this point and this bonfire. And then the plan for the next episode, Baby Souls, is we're going to go up from the entrance from No Man's Wharf. So we come out here, we got that guy right there. We're going to avoid him because we've got an item over here. And we're going to grab this, and then we're coming up to another Pursuer mini-fight. Pursuer mini-fight just in that arena down there. But we got another Fragrant Branch of Yore. The game is trying to make sure that we don't lock ourselves out. That we don't lock ourselves out, because one of the 4 old ones requires a Fragrant Branch of Yore to gain access to. That barrel that's just to our left, that was a powder barrel. We could have kicked it down. It would have killed these dogs. The only issue is, a lot of times kicking that powder barrel down damages us too. It's just not really worth it. I mean, it's a cool animation, but you can usually just jump attack and kill at least one of the dogs. So we're coming in. The devs are smart. They're going to put this chest all the way over here at the back. 105 IQ decision. But because we're a little smarter, we're going to see the Pursuer spawn, and we're coming back here to fight it to get our free licks in on it before we go again. And if you'll notice, this Pursuer... Oh, I had another enemy just come up. So now I've got 2 enemies I'm fighting right here. But you'll see this Pursuer is smoking out of its armor and has the red eyes. That is what a Pursuer looks like when it has its power up from the green sword grab attack. Now, since we're fighting 2 enemies, a lot of times it's best just to defeat the easiest enemy first and then focus on the other, and that's what I did. But as we saw when we were in Things Betwixt, I think in episode 3, it can do its magic attack on us, where it'll actually spew out magic, and then we have to run to the rear, and if we can get to the rear fast enough, then we can get 4 or even 5 shots in on it for free. And then if we get hit by too many of its magical orbs or hex orbs or whatever it spits out, it can curse us, and we'll die, like immediate insta-death. So we got another Twinkling Titanite. We need those to upgrade our weapon. That's our main source of Twinkling Titanite in the main game, and we get another Covetous Silver Serpent Ring, which we've already got the +1 version, so we're not going to equip that. So with that guy down, let's head over here, and let's start making our way into the rest of the Lost Bastille. Some people comment on this game that Dark Souls 2 is like a dream because certain areas are always daytime, certain areas are always nighttime. Lost Bastille is a permanent nighttime area. If we were to instantly warp back to, say, Majula, it'll always be daytime. Like, let's not get too far into the weeds on this. Dark Souls 2 is the best Souls game, and the problem is that people try to nitpick at it over stuff that isn't important compared to Bloodborne, which I've never played, but my understanding is it's just nothing but problems and nobody likes the dumb game. So we talk to Lucatiel, and we get the Antiquated Key. The Antiquated Key we won't really need for this portion of the playthrough. Oh, I'm also scared of heights. I think I mentioned this before. I'm scared of heights, even to the point where I'm scared of heights in video games. And I have fallen off from there before. But the Antiquated Key will open a couple doors for us, or at least one door for us that's important in the next episode. And depending which way we came, if we didn't go through the No Man's Wharf, then this would be our first meeting with Lucatiel. Over here, we've got a petrified statue that we can use a Fragrant Branch of Yore on. That's going to lead us to a boss fight, the Ruin Sentinels. It's technically a gank boss fight, but it's actually a really good boss fight. It's one of the better boss fights in the game, where you fight 3 Ruin Sentinels, but if you play it well, at most you fight 2-on-1. Come over here, grab this item, and then here is technically, I guess I didn't cover, we'll cover it in a minute, but there's a shortcut there that's really, really bad shortcut. So we kick that down. That's a powder barrel. It's a somewhat scripted event that if it rolls down just right, it blows up and you see that big S-shaped crack in the wall. It'll open that wall up and it'll give us access to a blacksmith slightly earlier in the game. So we're just going to go down there and YOLO it. Before, when we traveled to the Lost Bastille the first time, we got the Dull Ember. And for those of you who played Dark Souls Remastered after you played Dark Souls 2, you'll know that a blacksmith needs an ember. And that's locked with a different key. We'll get that key pretty quickly. So here we have this guy. He's kind of in the last stages of his life mentally. Like, he's not all there. It's not our problem. It's not his problem. He's still a blacksmith. We still need his services. We still pay him with the souls. But, yeah, he's got something going on in his head. And if we deplete the dialogue, which we're depleting the dialogue, you can't listen to it, but we're depleting the dialogue, he's gonna sense that we have the ember on us. There we go. And he's gonna ask us for it. There's no reason to keep the Dull Ember from him, and so we're just gonna give it to him. And the name Dull Ember implies that there's like a bright ember or even like a medium ember, but there's not. There's just that one ember. In Dark Souls Remastered, they changed it to there's like several embers. Here, there's just that one ember, and this is all we give to him, and he's fully unlocked at this point. So you're going to notice we're surrounded by chests, but he's also sitting on a chest. What we need to do is, if we want that one chest, we need to light that sconce with the torch. Bonfire is a source of fire. Come over here, light the sconce, and then once we rest and reset the area, he'll move over, he'll sit on that pile of bricks, and he'll use that anvil. He'll vacate the chest he's on, and then we can gain access to whatever's in it. Like, all these items are like small items. Nothing's really like super important. There's a weapon in there. It's not really that good of a weapon. I've never used it before. So yeah, we'll grab everything. Heavy bolt of crossbows. We get a craftsman hammer. That's his hammer. Like, if we were to kill him, that would be the hammer that we should get by killing him. But I don't use it. I never thought to use it. Never tried it. The only real hammer in this game that I think is really all that good is the demon hammer, which is a random drop. If you remember the bird that want the small, smooth, and silky stones back in Things Betwixt, it'll drop that. And it'll drop that fairly regularly. Like, progressing through most of the game and dropping all your stones typically gets you a demon great hammer. That's a pretty good weapon. So now I'm just going through explaining why with Madeleine's armor set, there's really no need to upgrade it. Like, if we have some real armor, we go way up in armor protection, but with just our set, we basically have nothing. So there's no reason at any point in time to upgrade Madeleine's armor set. And because of that, because we're using a weapon that we upgraded with Twinkling Titanite, and because we're using a set of armor that we don't upgrade at all, we're accumulating a lot of Titanite that normally we would be using. So as we come around the corner, we kill these two dogs, we're going to notice that there's a gate here. The lever for the gate to open it is on the other side. If we come to the Lost Bastille from Forest of the Fallen Giants, we have no access to the other side unless we make it all the way to the top, to the end of the level, and then work our way back down. Which you can do. I don't know why you would, but you could do. Or you can come to the Lost Bastille from the No Man's Wharf. And yeah, you'll pretty much have access to both sides of the level pretty quickly, and then it's user discretion which way you want to go up to the top. So coming over here, we've got this shortcut right here. You see a door below us. Obviously, we can't open the door from this side. And there's no landing pad for the door. So as we go over to the building across from us, we can open that. But if we want to use it as a shortcut, we like literally have to walk off. And if you time it wrong, if you jump, if you run, or if you don't run, I forget, you pretty much just fall to your death. It is almost fall to your death 1 time out of 3, 1 time out of 2. So we've got these guys, and then we're going to work our way over to the petrified statue to unlock it. You can tell it looks the same as the guy from Things Betwixt. If they look like this, they're not an NPC. They're just a stupid hollow enemy. If they look different, they're an NPC. Don't immediately attack them. We'll see one later at the end of this level, but it's pretty obvious. And then we're going to come in here, and we're going to fight quite a few enemies. Like, there's several guys in here we need to fight. And honestly, if this was like a real Lost Bastille in real life, yeah, there'd be a lot of enemies there too. It's more realistic to have like 50 enemies in a Lost Bastille than it is to have 2. So I just want to give props on a game like this that actually realistically populates a Lost Bastille. And we're not even done fighting. These are the ones that just swarm us at the very start. So we got the door to our left, and we got the stairs straight ahead. Both of them lead us to the boss arena. These guys in their little pottery enclosure, they typically stay just like that. Typically. Some of them don't, but typically they do. If we bust them out, a lot of times by busting them out, we actually do just hit them with our sword, hit them with whatever weapon we have, and deliver a killing blow to them. They don't have a lot of health. So let's open this door. First time I played this game, I opened the door, I walked right out to my death. Devs got me. I was IQ 104, the devs are IQ 105. But now that we know, we don't walk out. We can open it. Usually I don't open it, but we can't open it. But I mean, the whole point of opening it is to use a shortcut, which I don't use. And I don't recommend that you use either. Those stairs back there, we could take those up to the boss arena. The other way to go is this way. There's a trap set for you in this little room. It doesn't actually activate right now, but most of the time, those 2 knights will set off some powder barrels and kill themselves and engulf the whole room in flames. So you just want to duck in, aggro them, duck out, let them blow themselves up. Royal Greatsword, that's actually a pretty decent drop for like a mid-level weapon. So we can open this up. Had we taken the stairs in the basement, it would have just led us up into this hallway right here. There's a random NPC summon. Check every cell, because that's how Dark Souls 2 is played. There's the ladder that would lead us up. Locked. Another NPC summon. This is going to be actually a magic caster. I've never summoned her. I have no idea if she's a worthwhile summon or not. But yeah, she is a magic caster. So, through this door is the arena for the Ruined Sentinels. We're going to use a power-up. It's called a resin, and that's going to give us a damage buff. We haven't used one yet. Or actually, we haven't used one yet, but we're going to use one right now. When we walk on the other side of that door, we're going to fall on a small raised platform, and there's only one Ruin Sentinel there for us to fight. As long as we stay on this one platform, the other 2 Ruin Sentinels do not aggro. They just kind of sit and watch. If we fall off, it becomes a very tough fight, because now we're fighting 3 bosses. If the Ruin Sentinel up here falls off, just wait for him to come back up. He'll come back up. Once we've killed him, you're going to see the other 2 aggro. One's down on the floor, straight ahead of us. One is over on that other raised platform, which we have no access to until the boss fight's over. We'll just wait for this guy to jump up. We want to fight this Ruin Sentinel up here until the other one jumps up. Once the other one jumps up, this platform's too small to fight both. We're going to jump down to the bottom. Just like that, take some fall damage. We get underneath the platform, and they can't attack us. Now as they come down, we don't really know which one we were attacking before. Obviously, we'd like to fight the one with the majority of the damage to it. So we find out which one it is, and we begin attacking them. This is a somewhat difficult fight when there's 2 of them, especially because one of them will usually throw their shield at you, and that is a projectile weapon. It can hit you pretty hard, knock you over. As long as we can kill one, which we've got plenty of room to move around, this fight becomes a very easy fight. Like, it's extremely hard to die unless you just have no healing left over. If you just got 1 left. Okay, so they threw the shield. It hit us. Once one of them throws the shield, it's very easy to tell the difference between the 2. But we just got to get him down, which we will fairly easily. And going for the kill. And going for the kill. Alright, we got it. We got our souls. We had our gank fight, but this gank fight was actually pretty good because there's some level of choreography to it. Let's go and check around the room. In this room are multiple invisible walls. The way invisible walls work in Dark Souls 2 is they're activated with the execution key. Whatever key you use to rest at bonfires, to consume an item, to pick up an item, to talk with an NPC, it's the same button. When Dark Souls Remastered came along, they changed it to where it becomes an attack or a roll. So, whatever, it's the same difference. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But we'll go through and we'll activate all of them. It's not hard to. Just go around pressing, at least for me on my keyboard, it's the E button. Just go around pressing the E button and grab some things. Nothing in here is really all that important for us. Like, we don't need it. This is more of magic casters. So this is technically an optional boss fight, the Ruin Sentinels. But you either need to choose one of the 2. You either need to choose the Ruin Sentinels, or you need to choose Hyde's Tower of Flame and No Man's Wharf. If you don't choose those 2 areas to go through, then the Ruin Sentinels becomes a mandatory boss fight. Now, since I think it's a really good boss, I'm going to fight it either way. And we're going to fight all the bosses in this game. Maybe not the DLC, but we're going to fight all the bosses in this game either way. But this is a good fight. It's worth doing the fight every single time. It's kind of like with Dark Souls Remastered. All the bosses that get you to ONS are good fights, and you do them every single time. All the bosses that come after ONS, in a way, are optional bosses. Like, you can just beat ONS, and then you can just end the game, and that's its own kind of victory screen itself. Now that's my phone going off, you can hear it. That's a notification That's actually the cows from Diablo 2, the secret cow level. That's my notification sound on my phone. So you see me consuming a life gem. There's a trap in this hallway. Is it fair? Is it unfair? I'm not one to say. But as we come through, there's that little item right there, and we grab it, and then an explosion goes off. The explosion didn't hit us, but if you're too far down along this hallway, the explosion will get you, do a pretty decent amount of damage. And sometimes if you're leaving the Ruin Sentinels, like with 1 HP left, you could die and you gotta run back from the last bonfire. Now, the Ruin Sentinels don't respawn, but you do have to make the run back. So we're gonna rest, we're gonna head back to Majula, and we are going to level up. Let's consume our minimal amount of souls we have. With leveling up, once again, we are only focusing on vigor to raise our health and adaptability to raise our iframes, but we only need 25-30 adaptability for the entire game. Strength, we would like to get it up to 25 so we can one-hand this weapon, because we have another area that requires us to use a torch, and we don't want to go back to our fire longsword anymore. Everything else up to 50, we're just going to put into vigor. At 50, we'll hit the soft cap for vigor. Points invested in that give us very little additional life, and so just playing the game through New Game, there's no real point in investing more than 50 points into Vigor. Maybe for New Game Plus, where we simply are running out of things to invest in, or New Game Plus 7, or New Game Plus 8, whatever. Maybe we do it, but for New Game, and even for New Game Plus, there's not much of a reason to invest more than 50 past the soft cap of Vigor. And that's going to be true for any stats that have a soft cap. The first playthrough and New Game Plus playthrough, you might as well just leave them there. We're back to where we left off. We've got two ways to go. We've got that little raised platform right straight ahead of us, and we've got this stairway, or not stairway, this ladder to the left of us. We're going to go through the ladder. It does not lead us to the top, but it will lead us to a pursuer boss fight, a mini boss fight, and it also leads us to an optional area. Okay, pursuer spawns in. At this point, we fought this guy so many times. Even if you're playing this yourself, you fought this guy multiple times. He's just not very hard anymore. And what's the lore? No one knows. In my understanding, this was somewhat different in the vanilla Dark Souls. Either the spawn points were different, or there were less of them, or maybe it was the same, but I believe it was different. So we got him. We grab his Twinkling Titanite. We're going to use a Ferrous Lockstone on this Ferrous Lock, and it actually leads us into an optional area. Right here, we are going to make it over to Belfry Luna. There's two Belfries, Belfry Luna and Belfry Sol. Both of these are optional areas. They were meant to be PvP areas. This guy's extremely annoying to talk to. He offers nothing. And so the area itself, what it is, it's supposed to be a PvP arena. You can join a covenant, and then you can fight people who come here. Since this entire area is optional, the majority of people who came here back in the day when PvP was a thing for Dark Souls 2 wanted to fight. Now this area has an optional boss. Belfry Soul doesn't. Belfry Soul is entirely skippable if you're willing to fight a hard boss later in the game. And we'll discuss that when we get there, when we get to the Iron Keep. So when we're in offline mode, which we are, we always get invaded by a Bellkeeper. If we're in online mode, typically we would get invaded by another person somewhere else in the world. But honestly, because PvP is pretty much dead in Dark Souls 2, it doesn't matter. We won't get invaded. Maybe like 1 time out of 4 in online mode, you'll get invaded. So that door back there with the grate, that's what leads us to the boss arena. We need to come up here to ring the bell to activate the boss arena. You can see that one red guy is going to be the invader. So once again, when we're fighting multiple enemies, we kind of want to string them out, string them along. We also want to stay to the corners because these guys use axes and these guys use bows. And so as we bend the corner on them, it makes it so they can't shoot us with their arrows quite as easily. And you're also going to notice a couple of their weapons, a couple of their little hatchets or axes have like some black mist, black smoke, black aura around them. That represents that these weapons are going to do a damage buff with dark. They're going to have added damage because they're infused with dark. If someone were to hit us with an unbuffed weapon, it would simply do less damage. And then that's what we're going to use to ring the bell. That's the lever right there. Invader Banish, we don't get a good reward because that's how Dark Souls 2 works. In real life, you don't really get good rewards for banishing NPC invaders either. Like, at most, you get a human effigy. And if you're wondering why I'm doing a voiceover as opposed to just replaying the level, well, the bosses ain't coming back. And if I reset this area to New Game Plus, that's going to be extremely hard. And also in Dark Souls 2, New Game Plus changes the layout. Not the layout, but changes the enemies in the area. Sometimes there will be extra enemies who spawn in. Sometimes there will be permanent invaders. Like the other Dark Souls games, they didn't pick up on this idea. It's actually a pretty good idea that New Game Plus changes the game, not just makes it harder. So we rang the bell, ding, ding, ding. You would have heard that if we didn't have dubbed over audio. We're going to juice up on life gems, and we're going to go through and fight a pretty cool boss fight. So this boss fight had a rendition in Dark Souls Remastered, but they made it really lame. It's the gargoyle fight in the Undead Sanctuary, or the Undead Chapel, or whatever the name of that area is. But if you ask yourself, what if there were way more gargoyles, and what if the arena was much smaller, and what if every single gargoyle was the exact same? Well, then you have this boss fight, and this boss fight is quite a bit better than the gargoyle boss fight in Dark Souls Remastered. Like, Dark Souls Remastered took an awesome idea and just completely ruined it. So there's only one boss health bar, but every boss has its own health bar itself to despawn it. Obviously, what you want to do is you would like to finish off each gargoyle as quickly and efficiently as possible, as opposed to just whittling down random gargoyles. Because when all 5 spawn, this becomes pretty tough. If you can keep the numbers down to, say, 3, it's a much more manageable fight. Because these guys don't really pursue you that aggressively across the arena. Now, if you put 5 of them in there, it gets pretty rough because there's just so many of them. But if we can despawn this guy, then we're probably just back to 3. And then when the next one spawns in, that'll be all of them. And once again, completely optional boss. If you come here and you're having trouble with it, like, you can just play through almost the entire game, or you can play through the entire game and just come back and beat this boss easy. If it's like a check the box type thing, like you fought every boss, you can always just come back. If you don't do good DPS, this fight can be pretty tough, because they're going to get hits on you no matter what. Like, it's hard to imagine fighting this boss hitless. Like, I fought Flexile Sentry in No Man's Warp hitless. This boss, almost undoable. So now they're all spawned in. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6. It doesn't matter. If it's 6, it's actually better. 6 would be 20% better than 5 if we do the math. And then the boss health bar is just going to be 0 with the last strike of the last gargoyle. And every gargoyle has the same weapon. Every gargoyle has the same tail. None of the tails can be cut off. I don't think cutting off tails is even a thing at all in Dark Souls 2. There's no weapon, there's no benefit. But we got one guy left. He's got like 2 hits, and we beat the boss. One, 2, we got him. Alright, so Gargoyle's down. Very good boss fight. Far better of a boss fight than what they did in Dark Souls Remastered. And you're going to see that's a common theme. Let's grab this item. It's a Southern Ritual Band. That's a ring that slows equipment degradation, which to a certain extent becomes important later in Dark Souls 2. Let's light the bonfire, head back to Majula, and we'll level up. This bonfire only leads to like this one little area, so this is the only time we're going to be using the bonfire. Okay, looks like we're not going back to Majula. I changed my mind. So we see all those dogs down there. Is this a scripted event? Is this a random event? Let's find out. All the dogs are running at us right at once. Spoilers, it's a scripted event. They always run at you. But then we get invaded also. Is that scripted or is that random? It's tough to say. No, it's not. It's scripted. Like, that guy always invades right there. Honestly, though, he's not a hard invade. Like, he has a spear. He doesn't do a lot of damage. I don't think he's ever riposted me. I don't think he's ever backstabbed me. Just kill the dogs, and then you can deal with Vorgol the Sinner fairly easily. Like, yeah, look how much damage he does when he hits. It's like almost no damage. Let's lock him up. Strike, strike. He has no chance to get out of the stun animation. And we can do it again. We got him. We come over here, we get a pretty cool weapon, Dragon's Tooth. This weapon, you need like 50 strength to one-hand it. I don't use this weapon. It packs a punch. It does a ton of damage. It's just it requires too much strength to use. It's far more effective to use a weapon with lower stats than it is to use a weapon with tons of stats. And in Dark Souls 2, scaling really isn't that effective anyway. When I play through this game, I use the minimum amount of stats just to use a weapon. Minimum dex, minimum strength, and I invest my points in something more useful. So that's it. Area cleared out. Let's head back to Majula, and we will level up. And we'll never be back here again. Also, if you saw a cut there, that was me trying to get the dogs to stop barking. Like, they were barking nonstop. That's part of the reason for this voiceover. Now, you'll notice the Emerald Herald says the exact same dialogue every single time we talk to him. As you skip through it, it becomes from like the whole dialogue to bearer seek less, which is the first word of the 4 sentences that she gives. I honestly preferred the level up system that's in Dark Souls Remastered and Elden Ring, that we can level up from any bonfire. Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, we have to seek out a specific person. And then for Dark Souls 2, let's say we were to kill the Emerald Herald, at a certain point in time, I've never done it, but at a certain point of time, her gravestone would spawn in, and then we would have to pay like 5,000 souls to speak with her. It functionally becomes a tax on your souls, that if you want to level up, you got to spend 5,000 souls before leveling up is even an option. So like, if your little brother has a Dark Souls 2 game, you can go into it and gank the Emerald Herald, and it'll tax him a little bit. It's not like gonna destroy the game unless he's really, really sensitive, but it is not as effective as just having her alive. Now that we're back here, just past the Ruined Sentinels, we are going to come up here and make our way to the top of the tower. We come down here because I know there's an item down here. But, oh look, there's an enemy behind us, so we're not going to deal with that because we're smarter than the devs. Devs IQ 105, our IQ 106. And I'm going to do a backstab on it just because when I was doing the actual audio for this, I missed the easy attack. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do a backstab to finish them off. You missed that exchange. There we go, I got it. Now with that dude out of the way, we can come over and grab the Brosteele key. And the Brosteele key is going to get us access to the blacksmith without the shortcut, and then some doors later in the level. We come down here, we got the stairs up, and we've got this pathway to the left. They both lead to the exact same spot. It's not that important, but if we go this way, we grab a couple items. And then there's that dude who runs up. I don't know why that dude does that. I think that's just a glitch in the game. Some enemies just simply like take some running path away from you for no reason. Jump over. Be careful on this jump. You got to be pretty close to the edge to make this jump. We got these guys. That dude will explode the entire room because we got so many powder barrels in here. And he basically, all the attacks he does is he gets close to you, he lunges, he explodes on the floor. For those dudes, okay, someone just lunged right there. For those dudes, if there is nothing in the middle of them, it's just a blast attack, they'll get back up, they'll do it over and over again. If it's like yellow but not fire, it'll be an attack that degrades your equipment, and it can break rings, it can break armor. You will need to go to the blacksmith to have it repaired before you can use it again. And then if it's fire inside, it's a fire explosion, it kills the guy first time. He only gets one use. So we raise this door. We come over here. There's zero mechanism of raising this door. But that guy explodes, and for no explained reason whatsoever, the door raises. Like, that's not really a thing in Dark Souls. It's just a thing in this one section of the game. Come over here, that guy just blows up for no reason. This is where we will be exploring next episode in Baby Souls, but that will be the other way to the top of the tower, should we have entered from No Man's Wharf. So we got those guys. We can come through this room, grab this item. Right there, that little Iron Maiden on a chain will be the elevator we ride up in the next episode. Activate the drawbridge. Technically, it's optional to activate this, or not the drawbridge, the gates, because you can just drop down from above, but that is an option to do. And then these guys don't even aggro on us. This whole room is full of non-aggroing exploders. Right here, he is a magician. We're going to unlock him. Not only do we gain access to the bonfire, which the bonfire is not that important, but we gain access to the bonfire. We can talk to him. He will teach us magic, which he's not going to because we don't do magic in this playthrough. But he is also one of the two people who will convert our boss souls into boss weapons. So we skip through. We don't really care who he is. Like, he doesn't like us. We don't really like him either. We learn his gesture, which I don't use gestures. And then we can start looking through the various boss souls that are available to us. Not every boss soul is available to us, but the half that he produces are, and there's another blacksmith who produces the other half for us later in the game. So we've got, these are from the Flexile Sentries, Last Giant, the Gargoyles, Dragon Rider, and we got a couple shields from Dragon Rider and Pursuer. I decided to purchase the Pursuer's Greatsword. The problem with these boss weapons is they're really not all that special compared to regular weapons. They also upgrade with petrified dragon bones, which there's not that many that are given out throughout the game. So getting a boss weapon and using it typically is going to set you back a little bit damage-wise compared to just using a regular weapon of the same class. Because the regular weapon of the same class is going to upgrade to plus 10 far quicker than the boss weapon is going to upgrade to plus 5. And now after this, we are going to go... Okay, I'm going to equip the weapon. I decided to do that just now. But I mean, this is basically just a greatsword. Like, if we were to use this Zweihander, it's going to function the same. If we were going to use the regular greatsword, it's going to function the exact same. The damage will depend on how much strength and dexterity is needed to use the weapon, and then how much you upgrade it. Scaling, just ignore scaling. So we're looking for the secret door to fight one more Pursuer while we're up here. And once again, we need the Twinkling Titanite. If you don't need the Twinkling Titanite, maybe you just skip it. It's not important. And then after this Pursuer, the Pursuer mini-bosses are going to be far less common in the game. There we go. And this is one of those invisible door behind an invisible door. Very clever. Alright. We enter his arena, which is this little balcony. We see him spawn in. We can get 3-4 hits. And then we fight him again. For this balcony, it's somewhat easy to roll off because not every side is protected. I don't think the Pursuer can roll off. I've never seen the Pursuer roll off. It hovers, so lore-wise, it shouldn't even matter. But we, as the player, can 100% roll off. There's a grab attack, but we're out of range. And as we get hit, you'll see our health bar, a portion of it changes from red to yellow, and then that yellow just cycles down to nothing. The second we get hit, we lose all those health points. Should our entire health bar be yellow, we would die immediately. We would not wait for it to cycle down to nothing. That's just a graphic. And you can see our regular Titanite starting to stack up because we're not upgrading anything with it. We're upgrading right now everything with Twinkling Titanites. We come over here. We're going to look down at the courtyard that we're going to see in the next episode when we come from No Man's Wharf. We got the Bracing Knuckle Ring. I forget what that does. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'm sure you can look it up. It's not a ring I've literally ever used in this game. It's not important to me, this ring. So we go over this bridge to a place called the Sinner's Rise. And that's going to give the name of the next boss we fight, one of the 4 great ones, the Lost Sinner. Now, we don't actually fight the boss in the Sinner's Rise. We take an elevator down, and we go back over to Lost Brosteele and fight it. But this is just how they set up the level. Like, whoever built the Lost Brosteele in Drang Lake figured it would be better to have this rise over here, but then put the boss arena in the basement of the Lost Brosteele. And I mean, maybe it's an aesthetic choice. Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know. Don't ask me. Like, that's a question that requires an answer above my pay grade. So, that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully the voiceover didn't ruin it for you. If it did, I mean, just skip forward. Well, I mean, you're in the end of the episode, so if you watch this far, it didn't ruin it for you. But more episodes to come. Next episode is going to be Baby Soul 6. I'm going to be accompanied by my baby, Amalie Mercedes, and she's going to be helping me fight the Lost Sinner. Take it easy.